My wonderful listeners, welcome back to the Languages Pedagogy Podcast, episode 102, part 2 with Kyle Manning. In this episode, we're going to continue talking to Kyle. He's going to keep telling us and sharing a lot of information and a lot of experience. The topic, grammar versus communication. Do you really need perfect grammar to speak fluently? We're going to continue talking about this, and Kyle will give you a lot more. He's going to be actually giving you some insights, not only in this part, but in some other topics as well. So, if you really enjoy part 1, part 2 will be even better. So, without further ado, I bring to you part 2. Let's get started.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, on the speaking part, I've even told my students who panic because they're going to take the test and then they get past the first part, and then they have to go back for a second part, which is the interview, which has a speaking element, and they don't get called back if they didn't pass the first part.
Wow.
So, which is just
so
kind
much
of a
fear
time
there,
saver.
man.
Yeah, exactly.
Motivated, man.
So they're so when they get the notification that they passed the first part and they have to schedule to come back for the second part, which is the speaking interview. It's usually a very, very simple interview. It doesn't really even test them at the level of the test that they're testing for. Like if it were the one you referred to earlier, like the ABC, let's say they're interviewing for like a C2, the top of echelon of the testing, it doesn't really test them at that level. It just, they go and they ask them a question about opinion. The question may be aimed at that, but their response, if it's simple response, oh yeah, you did pretty good. And I mean, yeah,
Pass.
good, yeah, perfect, yeah. And I can only think of a couple of reasons. One is they are acknowledging that the culture is just shy and they're not going to put out their best effort. So they give them credit, they give them some points for just cultural shyness. And number two is it's a money machine because the whole testing thing, it's like karate. Yeah. It's like, I didn't take karate, but it's like, you go to karate for a year, you're going to get a black belt. It's like, but you couldn't do anything with it, right? It's like, what am I going to do with this? I don't know how to fight.
Oh my God.
It's just, but it's kind of the system over here. It's like, if you just go through the steps long enough, you'll get your black belt in English. But like, I know people who have actually passed the highest level. Maybe they even have like an 800 score, 900 score on the TOEIC.
Yeah.
But they can't speak. They can't hold a conversation at all.
Yes.
To save their life. I mean, to save their life, they could probably spit out enough words in the sequential order.
Yeah, the survival language. Yeah. They actually kind of have the survival language there just to say something here, something there, but that's enough. If there's a question actually that go beyond that cross that border over there, is like, nice to meet you. Bye-bye.
Yeah.
Or simply just sit and smile.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Yeah, it's true, it's that's what happened, and I feel it, because it's same situation happened here. I think that's pretty regional, I guess. Cultural, regional.
Mm-hmm. I had to take several years ago, like 14, 15 years ago, I took one of those teaching English as a second language teacher courses.
Yeah.
I took it online. A company that I worked for like 15 years ago said, if you get certified in this, we get like a pay raise. Yeah. So all the teachers just went online. They do it. Mm-hmm. I forget what it's called. It's some kind of a standard little. It's for teachers, not for students. It's for teachers teaching English as a second. Maybe it's
TESOL. TESOL is the teaching students. Teaching English to students of other languages. That's the TESOL.
Yeah.
And the TEFL is the teaching English as a foreign language.
Okay.
Yeah.
It was one of those. I think even at the time I didn't really care. I just wanted to get the certificate.
Yeah.
I felt this. I felt the same way that the students feel like, hey, just give me my 800 score so I can go get a job.
Well,
Because
that sounds
because
really
that's a
good.
lot of the problem over here. They want the score so they can go get a job.
Yeah.
But anyway, in that course, while I was taking it, they were showing examples. See, they were the teaching videos. They were like in Europe or somewhere, where all of the students had a little bit of English background, but culturally they were just much more enthusiastic about speaking and talking, like in their examples. And I was like, I'm taking your course, but none of that is going to work over here. I mean, there's no way I'm going to be able.
You were that little black spot over there. Just it's like you're totally out of the screen. You're totally out of her. No. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
I got it. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
So something actually that worked from there? No, nothing. Definitely nothing.
No, not not. I mean, they had some interesting ideas, but a lot of them were just it didn't really fit my style too. I kind of have my own style, which I'm not saying that that's the best way. It's usually the best idea is to adapt a style that works. So I'm not saying that everyone you should just go have your own style. That's not the best approach. But I was also teaching in previous industries, not only English and stuff. So I kind of already had my
your experience degree there.
Yeah,
that's the one that actually is really valuable there, the experience degree. And I agree with what you're saying there, because one of the biggest problems that sometimes we as teachers face is that they put us on a balance. Okay, if you got more degrees, that means you know more.
Yeah.
But if you don't have degree, that means you know nothing.
Right.
But one thing is clear: a teacher with a degree is just because it's needed in the system, so you can actually get immersed in the system, so you can get some recognition, which is the money. But not because you got the degree means that you are gonna be like the top, or you got the master or PhD or whatever. That will not make you automatically the greatest teacher in the classroom.
Right.
And there are many actually approaches, different type of styles, but you gotta adjust yourself to your reality. I think the students in the classroom are totally different in every classroom, every school, each corner of the world, any corner. You're gonna find students that are totally different, and you gotta adapt so you can get the best out of them.
That's right.
And I think that's a good point over there. Yeah, this is a problem that it's part of the industry. You need to have a degree, because that's something quite like the business, the government works with this agency, but okay, we're gonna send you the teachers, you get the money there, but you pay us a little bit here. Kind of a business, right?
Yeah.
Sounds like
it's all about the money. It's all about there's got to be a rap song out there about English teaching.
yeah.
It's all about the money.
If you were hard at it, I'll be where I want to be. I know I can. Oh my god, man. Yeah, that's totally true. That's totally true. I'm really happy that you're bringing this up, actually, because it is part of this. It's like a vicious circle here, like a vicious cycle here. You go here, you gotta pay this, and then you gotta go back here, keep paying, and in the end, what really matters is how good you actually work inside the classroom, and how much you're actually doing with the kids to produce the language, but not just keeping the language inside, but producing it.
Yeah. If anybody's out there, wanting to become a teacher or is a teacher or whatever, my personal advice that coincides with what we're talking about is, even though there's probably blanket systems out there that just work, within a certain margin of error, there's another thing that says, look, if you're a private teacher and you want to teach privately, there's going to be just a bond between the teacher and the student. And if my students were to go to, say, a different teacher who's not me, they let's just say they may not get the same level of momentum that they get with me, because they kind of fit me and my style. But on the other hand, other teachers who have attracted a certain kind of student to them, it kind of fits. It's like a marriage. It works well with
Yes,
them, and it motivates each other in just the right way that each other needs. So, I'm kind of a strict teacher, for example, and so that people know that about me, and there's the parents who know that about me, or even the students. After a while, they get adjusted to that. And then some others are very, very kind and gentle, and like, oh, you did a good job, whatever, and that works too.
exactly.
They all work, but every system has to be nurtured in that relationship between the teacher and the student.
And
So
student, yes.
yeah, so I would say that teachers and students don't try to think that you're going to find that perfect silver bullet, either way of teaching or teacher, because it's going to require you creating that relationship with that teacher and trusting each other and moving forward and pushing. Because there's a lot of pushing you got to do. You got
Oh,
to push hard.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Sometimes you gotta swim against the current, right?
that's right. That's right. And teachers like me will go out there and throw a current out there for you. Swim against this.
Well,
So no.
yeah. Well,
Um,
it is part of it. But that's why the topic as a grammar, how important is it? Is not.
mhm,
It doesn't depend on how good the teacher is or how many degrees it has. Yes,
right,
we are actually in a system that is quite weird sometimes, weird,
right.
messed up.
Hmm.
But yeah, the point in teaching or learning a language is that you can produce, communicate.
Hmm. Hmm.
So aside from the very good advice that you're giving actually to the young teachers, let's see how many youngsters want to actually join the teaching career. Uh, Now, should teachers place less emphasis on grammar and more on interaction?
Yeah. Uh, yes. Yes. If the student has the courage to just let it go and just talk, listen, talk, and reciprocate, then I would say give them a little bit of grammar to work with so that they can at least practice it. But don't hold them back from using other things that maybe they haven't learned yet, that they're just spitting things out there. As long as they're trying to practice whatever it is that they have learned on a small scale, let that be a minor part, but let them just flow and go with it. Just
Yeah.
like free writing, right? Like creative writing. Like
Yeah.
just go with it, but have some kind of a theme in mind that they're working on trying to master inside that, so that it's a little bit controlled. So I'd say a little bit of grammar, like if it's a lesson point that you're trying to work on, like you said, I am eating. Like, okay, let's talk about eating. Talk about whatever you want. Just go with it. I don't care what you're
Exactly.
talking about. Just talk
Well, in
about it.
this case, we're talking about the topics. Yeah, it's true. And
Yeah.
and in this and here's a good one. So it's good to price bravery over accuracy then.
I'm Kyle. I live in the northern part of Japan where the snow falls deep and the bathhouses are famous. My journey began in Texas. In 1988, I first set foot in Japan during my service tour. After that, I became a software developer here. Later, I returned to the United States, where I continued my work in software development. It was there that I discovered my passion for teaching, traveling across the country, sharing my knowledge of software technologies with major corporations and government agencies, including NASA. This path led me back to Japan, this time to teach English. Now, after more than 20 years living here, I coach English from my home to neighbors of all ages, from 5 to 78 years old. But for me, education is not just about teaching English. It's about coaching a mindset. I believe there is nothing a person can't do. If I can help you see that you can hold a real conversation in English, you might start to see other dreams as possible too, dreams that once felt so distant. If you're ready to unlock your potential, I invite you to connect with me.
Yeah, bravery will get you
Over
further.
accuracy. Yeah. Well, if we're talking about production and not being afraid of making mistakes, so bravery, it's actually, but it would be more subjective, right?
Yeah, the accuracy person, the person who relies on accuracy, is the one who usually won't get the first word out, either on paper or like a writer. They'll have writer's block.
Yeah.
They're the person who, in their mind, they have to get it perfect. In their mind, they have to know what they're going to do, say, write before they do it. They have to role play it in their head 1,000 times. Whereas, and I've been there, I know. I mean, that's the reason why I'm saying this. I know whether it's writing, I told you before, in a previous conversation, I come from the software field, but sometimes even just writing code.
Yeah.
We go to this mental block of like, well, what is it that
it's a blockage? Exactly.
There's a blockage. And if you're willing to just say, look, let me just blast through that and clear out all the clutter and just let the ashes land where they may. Let me just see what happened and then recover from that and then do it again later another time with a little bit less explosion and more control. But sometimes you just have to blast through there and be willing to, get burned a little bit. Sometimes you got to get close to the fire just enough.
Yeah, exactly.
But if we can get that level of, and I think that is kind of what I was going about earlier. If you have the right relationship with a teacher, one you trust, it's kind of like a marriage where they trust that they can talk in front of you or whatever. Then that helps, as opposed to like when I was in French in high school, man, I was kind of a class clown, but I was scared of my teacher because she came up on me, like standing over me, like, and I was like almost started crying.
Yeah.
Because I didn't have any, it was my first time in there and everyone else was like responding to it. I was like, I didn't get the email, I was like, what is she saying? I have no idea. And, because they were paying attention. I wasn't paying attention probably. But that's kind of a systematic, institutional way of teaching. And it works like within a certain margin of error. And it works. But in a private setting, there are more, there are better ways if you can match student and teacher in their personalities and whatever.
Exactly. Everything is just like a combination or something that actually works intertwined. It has to be like that, like this and this and all together, so we can make it. Students produce and all that without having the problem. Be more brave. Go ahead. Speak it out.
We're talking about grammar. I think actually, this is my personal opinion, it is not the finite opinion, but it is one that I personally believe in very strongly. That equal to speaking but maybe even in some cases more important than speaking is reading.
Mm.
And it is the Achilles heel of everyone. And as I tell my students too, I say, look, they're Japanese. I say to them, if I point to someone who I think is a great speaker,
Yeah.
whether it's a famous politician or a famous business person who gives great speeches or whatever,
Yeah.
I can almost guarantee you, without even meeting them in person, I can almost guarantee you that they have a strong reading habit.
Mm.
That they
Yeah.
read, whether it's newspaper, magazine articles, or full out books on a regular basis. They have a strong reading habit.
Yeah.
And I'm like, now, when you think about a Japanese person, I said, just think of somebody in your mind, whether it's somebody on TV, someone who speaks very, very well. And if they think of someone, go, that person reads a lot. I guarantee it.
Yes.
Now, because if you take somebody who can't read at all, they can still learn to speak to a certain level of proficiency and grammatical accuracy,
Yeah.
but it won't be perfected until they actually ingrain the reading habit. But I think the reading habit, if you install it earlier in the routine,
Oh, yes.
it doesn't have to be Shakespeare, it doesn't have to be Harry Potter.
Yeah.
It can be simpler things like you asked me about the book that I have these online. It looks like it's targeting kids, and it kind of is, but the language is perfect for a full range of adults because it's just total conversational style stuff.
Got it.
Style language. And by reading that over and over, you will find these patterns that just get reused so many times. And because you may not have an opportunity to speak it with someone, if you can read just something continuously over and over and over, eventually those patterns will just stick out. Like if you're ever reading a book and you're about to flip the page and you know what the next word is going to be before you've even seen it, just
Exactly.
because
Yes.
you know the grammar, you can feel it. I said, by reading a lot, when you get to that point, you're moving forward. You're getting, somewhere.
Great.
It's not going to make you perfect at grammar, but it's going to make your awareness a lot more, But it's kind of like bodybuilding. People want to get a magazine
Definitely.
and
Yeah.
read about it, but until you get in there and push those weights hard,
Yeah.
that's kind of what
That's
reading
a
is.
really good one there. Yeah. That's a good analogy over there because it's true. The more you read, the better you actually become.
Mm-hmm.
For fluency, it's perfect.
Yeah.
For fluency, even grammar, you don't actually have to teach grammar.
Yeah.
You just see it in the book, and you just keep it there. Maybe you don't know exactly the grammar, the name of that grammar, but you apply it, and that makes you speak better, faster, more accurate. You won't have any problem. That's a really good one there. Yes, reading, definitely, 100%. You got it there.
Yeah. Of course, it has to be targeted at the appropriate level, but yeah, I think if I had more students who were saying, "Hey," and I have one student, my dentist actually, she's my dentist. She comes to me, and we actually use that book. We're on the second book. It's like a series,
Oh,
and we're on the second one, and I've actually caught her one time where she actually because what I'll do is I'll have them read a paragraph. And the
yeah,
paragraphs are small. In this particular book, they're small. They're like sometimes 2 sentences. And it's basically conversational style because it's what the person was saying in their mind. They wrote it down in their journal.
yeah.
And I said, okay, now just close the book or just turn it over and just tell me in your own words what you read just now. Just summarize it for me.
Mm.
And then at a point, she actually used a different idiom accidentally to fill in the exact same meaning of an idiom.
Oh,
It was like a 2-word, not even an idiom, like an expression. Where whatever it had said in that passage, she used a different 2-word, totally different, but it meant the same
yeah.
thing. And then when I asked her about it, I said, "What was the word you just used?" and she said something. I go, now go look in the book. She goes, oh, that's not what it says. I said, where did you learn that from? Oh, this book. Because she read it. She read it so many times. The meaning was just ingrained.
Yeah, exactly.
And
that's a really good experience there. That's a really cool one.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
that's the point, reading, and I'm really glad actually that you brought up, because it's true. Reading, it's part of it. So that example that you're giving me, and just that student just bringing up this word that it was not in the first place there. It was something that she learned before. Not even learned, let's say she just read it, but it just stays stick in her mind that she just used it again to replace.
Yeah. Right.
Beautiful. That's one of the beautiful things from the language. That's amazing.
Yeah.
So that's the adult students that you have, right?
That's an adult. Yeah.
Got it.
And she is like one of the ones who has the courage to just speak and just,
that's it.
And yeah.
That's amazing. That's pretty cool, actually, that what you're saying over there about the doctor. I mean, doctor, right? The dentist.
The dentist, yeah.
Yeah. So this book, I'm sorry, this book is the one that you wrote?
No. I would love to say that I have that I had. No, that is the title is called Diary of a Wimpy Kid. It's a famous actually book. A friend of mine in America, who actually holds a PhD, he recommended to me. He said, "Hey, Kyle, you got to read this series of books I'm recommending to your students." I said, okay. And it took me a while, but then I got one, and then I got the student, the dentist. She agreed to use it kind of as a textbook replacement, because I don't use textbooks here. And she loves it. We finished the first one, then it took a year to get through it, but because she doesn't, we only meet once a week, and she reads 3 or 4 pages, and she goes off and she studies what the words mean and whatever. And then comes back, and now we're on the second book, and she is just enthusiastic. But I wish I had young kids who would just eat it up and be like, "Yeah, give me more."
Ooh,
I wish I had that. I wish I had
thirst for knowledge there. Come on,
right? Yeah, bring it.
Yeah, that would be cool. Well, that's the dream of every teacher, right? Have kids like that, Well, sometimes it sounds a little bit utopic, but can happen, There are many students around that can be like that. Definitely. I also have a couple of them as well. Really good experience with them as well. I remember I saw in one of your post on X about a little book over there. Is that the one that you were talking about, or is yours?
That's probably the Diary of a Wimpy Kid. It's like a red book. If you go to my profile page, it's at the top, because I had a group. I'm not really doing anything with the group anymore. It was experimental, but you will see the picture of the book kind of in the that. Yeah,
well,
that's Diary of a Wimpy Kid.
That's really good then. So the audience can actually just go bomb into your X account. I'm just gonna hang your X profile there so people can pay a visit. Yeah. And if anyone would like to actually have classes with you, well, here we have Kyle ready to tackle there. And that would be good. That would be amazing. I'm gonna just do it. I'm gonna just hang your profile there, and I'm gonna keep it there so if anyone can contact you, well, that would be amazing.
Okay, I appreciate it. Yeah, that'd be great.
Thank you. Kyle, I think the time it's up. So it's been great to talk to you all this time, an entire hour. It's been really good, really fun.
Pleasure.
We loved. It's been very interesting. Talking a little bit of grammar, and then we jump a little bit to the system, and we go against the system, and then we laugh up. But it's been really cool, really great. Thank you very much, Kyle, for being here. And please, any final thought that you have actually for the audience?
Don't stop. Don't stop. Don't give up. Keep on.
That's a really good one there.
Yeah.
All right, Kyle. So, before we leave, I just want to tell you the doors are open any other time that you would like to come and talk to us about something anymore, about the experience or any topic that you would like to share with the audience, you're more than welcome.
I appreciate it, brother. All right.
Thank you very much, Kyle. And I hope I can see you soon. And take care and keep working hard over there.
All right. Thanks. You too.
All right, man. Thank you.
Talk to you soon.
See you next time. And well, we just got to the end of this amazing episode. I really hope you guys enjoy it. And if you got any questions or if you would like to add something to this conversation, please don't forget to leave your comments in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe, rate, and follow us for more as well. You can also pay a visit to our website, MikeEnglishOnline.com, where you will find tons of resources for your daily learning or teaching. Also, stay tuned. Episode 103 is on the way. And if you really enjoyed these 2 episodes, you will definitely enjoy episode 103. And as I always say, keep learning, keep teaching, keep researching, and keep enjoying the Languages Pedagogy Podcast.